Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Praise be to Allah for His mercy and blessings. Peace and salutation to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness to the light. And also, I thank the lecturer who has given me the opportunity to present the problem that is raging in our beloved country, Indonesia. And here I'm going to present under the title Responding to SDG Challenge Point 1 Poverty Through Baitul Integration Model Design. But before that, I'm going to mention the table of content, and there are 5 points. For the first is background, poverty in Indonesia, the second function of mosque at the time of Prophet, so the short Baitul Mal, Chibukar Mosque, so the fourth idea, integration model design, and the last conclusion and suggestion. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the fundamental problems experienced by developing countries is poverty. Poverty is a global problem faced by many countries, especially developing countries. In dealing with this problem, the United Nations International Organization created an SDG program, and one of the goals is to reduce poverty to realize the SDGs 2030 later. Now, let's watch this video.
Mereka bilang negara ini negara kaya. Mereka kata negara ini berisi orang hebat. Pembangunan yang kian pesat, teknologi yang sangat berkembang, membuat bangsa ini seakan bangsa yang makmur. Namun di balik cerita yang indah itu, kemiskinan menjadi potret buram bagi jutaan masyarakat. Kondisi ekonomi yang kian terpuruk memaksa para orang tua mengais rezeki di tempat yang buruk, yang membuat sang bayi merasakan sakitnya gizi buruk. Aku ingin melihat senyum pada wajah lesu mereka, menikmati hidup yang layak di negeri yang katanya kaya ini, mengecapnya nikmat pendidikan, berbaring di tempat yang pantas.
Okay guys, from this video, we can see that Indonesia has a complex and multidimensional problem that causes or impacts on economic inequality. This happens because the strategic economic base is only monopolized by a handful of people, namely traditional federalists and also capitalist societies. Now, let me share in this data. From this data, tell us that in Indonesia, 1% of rich people can dominate 49% national wealth. This is why the rich people in Indonesia get richer and vice versa. The poor get poorer. Whereas, ladies and gentlemen, based on global religious feature data, Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world, with a Muslim population reaching 220 million people in 2020. Still in his teachings, there are main principles that counter Rahmatan lil Alamin, which means creating a prosperous life. But however, the current conditions in Indonesia with the number of Muslims dominating are very, very vulnerable to poverty. One of the factors of poverty is none other than because people in Indonesia are less able to optimize the potential around of them. As a country with a majority population Muslim, the problem of poverty in Indonesia can be resolved through optimization of the Baitul Mal mosque. Therefore, here are 3 main points of discussion to explain this strategy. First, knowing the function of the mosque at the Prophet Muhammad. So the second, the Jewel Career Mosque as an example of a mosque that built the economy of people through Baitul Mal. So the third, the idea of integration model designed between Baitul Mal, government and non-government institution. Okay, for the first, I will bring you back to remember the history of Islam. We need to remember that during the time of Prophet Muhammad, the function of the mosque is not only for praying, but it's also for gathering to become a place of community empowerment in economic, so education, health, politics, social, also cultural. It means the verticalistic function, also horizontalistic function are very balanced both of them. But guys, ironically, the function of the mosque which was once multifunctional is now verticalistic function only. That is, the function of the mosque stopped at the level of ritual worship, such as prayer and congregations, while the horizontalistic function looks very, very lacking today. And in fact, the function of the mosque in Indonesia is transferred as the function of the mosque at the time of Prophet Muhammad. I think it has a great potential because in Indonesia it has a great potential of mosque in Indonesia, and there are three kinds for build the potential of mosque in Indonesia, such as human resources. So physical resources includes land and also building, and the last non-physical resources includes zakat, infak, and also sedekah. And now let's look at one example of a mosque in Indonesia that has success in building the people's economy. It is a Jogokarian mosque in Yogyakarta. This mosque is one of the mosques that balance the function of horizontalistic with verticalistic function. And Jogokarian mosque is trying to overcome the socio-economic problems faced by surroundings, a community. And Jogokarian mosque has the goal of empowering the economy of the community around the mosque through zakat, infak, and sedekah that collected and managed by the Baitul Mal Mosque. So the managed funds are then distributed to the communities or the society around the mosque in need. Now let's we see this table of the income of Jogokarian mosque in the year before 99 till 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, looking at this table, it shows us that the income of Jogokarian mosque has grown very rapidly. This was influenced by the existence of a good management of Baitul Mal. And looking at the mosque in Indonesia, whose income only focuses on physical development, but there is something unique about Jogokarian mosque that's rarely applied by mosques in Indonesia, namely the application of Baitul Mal concept as an effort to empower the economy of the community, where income is focused on the lower middle class or only for a poor people surrounding this mosque, and including providing capital for the poor who want to do a business. This mosque provides business capital facilities without requiring borrowers to pay for loans. With that, Baitul Mal in Jogokarian Mosque is going very, very well. And here are the portraits of the Jogokarian, and there are many kinds of infaq, forms of infaq. There are infaq for parking, so for sugar free, so there are ATM for rice, and business from Baitul Mal management. Also, there are um, free drinking and many, many more. Ladies and gentlemen, seeing the positive impact of Baitul Mal in Jogokarian Mosque in an effort to prosper the surrounding community, of course, it can be implemented in other mosques. It's right, yeah. However, in implementing the management of Baitul Mal Jogokarian Mosque, Here I'm as a presenter today, and I built a community-based economic empowerment design model of the Master Baitul program by integrating three elements, and there are Baitul in all Muslims from Indonesia, the government, and also the non-government institution. Look at here guys, the idea integration model design of Baitul and there are three elements for the first government, non-government, and also all the mosques in Indonesia. And the integration mechanism includes input, so process, and also output. For begin from input, and there are three sources of funds, human resources, and institutions. First, the sources of funds. For mosque-based economic empowerment can be taken from zakat, infaq, and sadaqah from Baitul Mal. So funds are then distributed to the people in need, but in commercial, for example, it's business fund, so the Kampung Ramadan, and we can see Kampung Ramadan in Jogokarimas during Ramadan, or non-commercial, for example, for home renovations, so scholarship, or ATM of rice, like in uh, Baitul Mal, Jogokarian. So the second is human resources. And in human resources, which are categorized into two groups. For the first, human resources as managers of mass economic empowerment, who must have academic skills or adequate skills regarding management, development, and empowerment of zakat, and the society from community development, and there are training, coaching, and accompaniment for this group. This group. So for the second group is the society, but reserves the humans as empowered subjects, or namely economically disadvantaged people or people in need. So the third is institution or foundation of Baitul Mal that this institution as a place of operation for the entire of services of funds for distributions of funds. So this mechanism is carried out continuously in mosques throughout Indonesia in accordance with government policy and intensive supervision of non-governmental institutions for the distribution of public welfare. So this model is signed towards a prosperous society. This is the output, the final output of this model design. Ladies and gentlemen, from this previous presentation, we can conclude that looking at the conditions of poverty in Indonesia, which causes economic inequality between the rich and the poor people, the mosque can answer the challenge of poverty in Indonesia by diverting the function of the mosque like the mosque in the time of Prophet Muhammad, because the mosque has a great potential for building the community's economy. And through the well-managed vital malls such as Jibukarian Mosque, so with that, integration between vital mal in all mosques in Indonesia, so the government and non-government institutions, the number of poor people in Indonesia will decrease because they get financial assistance from Baitul Mal. And I'm totally sure that by implementing three elements, the gradient model in a sustainable Indonesia can answer the challenge from SDGs point one, which to reduce poverty in 2030 and build the combat in the world. And to complete my speech, I will give a suggestion to Indonesian young that we as the young, let's help the government in resolving help the endless problems of this nation. And we as young, at least We can contribute our creative idea for the progress of this country. Because yeah, is the right hand. Because yeah is the right hand of the government. As Sukarno said, give me 10 young men, I'll surely shake the world. Sukarno. Okay, guys, maybe that's all my presentation. Thanks for your great attention, and I apologize for many mistakes that I have done. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.